Morning everybody, morning. We are just setting up for this webinar. Morning everybody. Morning, welcome. Please welcome, be welcome. We will start at 11 o'clock sharp with the webinar. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to the GRAP What's New webinar. We are scheduled to start at 11 o'clock. We're just waiting for one or two more attendees to arrive. Please give us just a minute or so, so you can just wait for them to arrive, and then we will start maybe 11:04 on my clock. And with the webinar. Thank you. You are welcome for those that have already joined. Morning. Welcome. Seeing we getting some two more delegates. Welcome. We will start at 11:04. Thank you. Okay, it's now 11:04. We will start. Welcome everybody to our What's New webinar for our latest GRAP release. I just want to check that we've got the recording going. Excellent. My name is Stefan van der Merwe. I'm the product manager at public sector here at Caseware Africa, and I will be doing this webinar for you. Let's jump into it, and we've got an hour, and then we're done, and there's a few things we need to cover. Excellent. Maybe if there is any questions, please don't hesitate to post them on the chat or on the question. As I go along, I will try to answer those questions. Take a pause now and again and just check if there's questions after each section. Excellent. I just want to check in with my team. Malagay, you can see me and hear me well? Hello?
Hi, Stefan. Yes, I can.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Excellent. Yes, I can. There, I see you've responded. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So let's continue, and you can see the screen. Okay. Good. So just as an introduction, I think this release really actually covers both the PFMA and the MFMA cycle. I think just very relevant now is the PFMA cycle, which is which the submission is due by the end of May, and the consolidation and the submission to the FS is the end of May. You should have your draft audit report in June, and you would have had final audit report and the whole process finalized by July. And then a month later is any entities that have a consolidation. So I think that is for the PFMA cycle. The same for the MFMA cycle, which is just a bit later down the line. The end of August is the submission of the financial statements, and the end of November is the finalization of a single entity set of financial statements. And this update should really comply with both. We just want to maybe see if we can take a quick poll on some 3 questions, just to maybe to set the scene. I don't know if you want, just maybe with your phone, take take this QR code, and it will take you to only 3 questions, which I hope you will be able to complete. And just to get a bit of context about making it interactive, first of all, and just get some insight also from the colleagues that is on the call. Okay. So just take a screenshot, or take your if you've got a QR code reader on your phone, take a QR code. Take a snapshot of this QR code. It will take you to a Google form, and if you can just maybe then complete those 3 questions. Either, if you don't have a QR code, I have a link that you can I'm just going to copy the link into the chat, and you can just maybe click on that link as well, and it will take you to the form as well. And let's just together do those questions. This is now, I just see that you can still see my screen. Excellent. This is the 3 questions that I want you to, if you want to complete. The first question, very easy. What accounting framework do your entity use? Is it GRAP, IFRS, or modified cash, or any other? If you submit your financial statements by the end of May, if you're a public entity, and maybe if you're a municipality, you can say the same. If you submit your financial statements by the end of August, do you submit a full set of financial statements, or do you submit the annual report, or do you submit your AFS plus your performance information report? And then lastly, how many pages is your financial statements? Maybe I've got there 3 choices: a 0 to 50, a 50 to 100, 150, or above 150 pages. This is now just your financial statements, not now your full annual report. If the audience are willing, be interesting just for you to complete those responses. So if you just click on the link like I'm doing now, it will take you to the screen, and maybe you can then just complete the survey. And I just see if there is any responses. There's no real responses yet. Just see if let's just do a response myself. And just like that, and I submit. And you can see there's one response, and we can already see a bit of trend. I don't know, colleagues, if you're willing, just or maybe if you're not stopped. I just want to see here. There's some clients here, and see if you can access that link in the chat, and maybe give your responses. But whilst that is happening, let's just jump back into the presentation, and I just want to see here, jump back into the presentation and start with the compliance overview. I think what's fascinating for us and what we've learned over time, and what you guys also know maybe better than us, is that the AG, there's three types of audit. The AG gives a reasonable assurance or limited assurance on the financial statements. On the performance information report, they either give a reasonable assurance, a limited assurance, or findings engagement. And then on the compliance, they do give only not a reasonable assurance, but just a finding engagement. I think you guys really, colleagues, are experience the impact of this every day, and or every year when you submit your financial statements, and you're well aware of this. The reason why I'm saying this is because there is a very common theme for either if you are now on IFRS, doing an IFRS set of financial statements, or if you do a GRAP set of financial statements, or even a modified cash, is the introduction of instruction number 4 of 22 of 23, introduction of the PFMA compliance and reporting framework. And I think it has never been very relevant in the past few days, where it talks about what to do with disclosure of compliance information. And this new guidance sort of gives guidance to the Schedule A's and B's, and it's really only applicable to the PFMA environment, not yet to the MFMA environment, but where it essentially defining what is where to put in compliance disclosure. Do you have compliance disclosure that should go into the annual report, or do you have compliance disclosure, or what compliance disclosure needs to go into the annual financial statements? And I think this is now very relevant, is that how much of compliance disclosure, specifically very relevant, is unauthorized, irregular, frivolous, and wasteful expenditure. How much of that you need to put in your annual financial statements, and how much you need to put in your annual report. And I think if you just go back this slide, and the rationale here is also what type of opinion does the Auditor General give on these compliance disclosure. And you would see, and now you have this conundrum that if something is included in your financial statements, the Auditor General wants to express a reasonable assurance, which is most of the time, or if it's decided to only do a limited assurance, a review engagement, maybe on a very small subsidiary of an entity, which is a company which you can do a review engagement, and that's the limited assurance. But most of the financial statements, the AG wants to give a reasonable assurance opinion upon. But when it comes to compliance, they are really only not doing a reasonable assurance, but only doing a finding engagement. But now you have this thing, there's a lot of compliance disclosure included in the annual financial statements, and now the AG also needs to express a reasonable assurance on those compliance disclosure. I think there is also a case where the legislation is very direct to say, well, include in the financial statements the following disclosure regarding compliance. like the treasury regulations do that. However, there is then a lot of compliance disclosure which is not really defined that it needs to be included in the financial statements, and now historically clients were including that compliance disclosure within the financial statements, and that then sort of, you know, then had impact again on the opinion of the AG. I think, and that's where this this framework for me was created. And I think just a quick, and we will be able to share you, and I think you guys already, most of the entities already had training on this compliance disclosure. But in essence, if you go to the gap analysis of how it was done previously, on how and how it needs to be done now, there's a nice document. I call it a crosswalk to PFMA compliance and reporting framework instruction 4 of 2022-2023, and this is where they say, listen, you still need to disclose in your financial statements the requirements, you know, for unauthorized irregular fruitless and wasteful expenditure, but in accordance with paragraph 7.6 and 7.7, and you just need to look at the footnote of that. And in paragraph 7.6 and 7.7 of the framework, it only requires this information to be included in your financial statements of the unauthorized, which is not applicable to the entity, but of irregular and fruitless and wasteful expenditure. And then and then what's important, that is all inclusive of VAT. So the 15% VAT rate is included. But this is the extent that needs to be included as per this framework in the financial statement. If there is an unauthorized irregular unauthorized 7.7 do also have some additional disclosure about irregular fruitless wasteful expenditure, is the amounts incurred and confirmed in that financial year, or payments made in relation to multi-year contracts. And 7.8, you know, the amounts confirmed in the year, amounts that were assessed in the financial year and confirmed in the current year, and amounts that were not identified and are identified to confirmed in the current financial year. So those are the extent of disclosure. And then in all the other disclosure of the compliance is now required to be included in a new section in your annual report that deals with compliance reporting. So in your annual report, there is now recommended Part C, Part D, Part E is a compliance report that really goes then in a bit more detail on what needs to be disclosed about the compliance, and it started off with the most relevant compliance, which is information about irregular fruitless and wasteful expenditure, but then it also defines, you can see there's a much more detail that needs to be disclosed in the financial in the annual report, not the financial statements, that you are now required to disclose. So effectively, what has happened for our clients is that they moved some of the detailed disclosure requirements outside of financial statements into the annual report to have a better alignment to the audit types of the Auditor General needs to express on financial statements. So I think that's the big ticket item. You can see now, if you go to the crosswalk, is that they do sort of explain here the new requirements of reporting in the annual report, and they list in all of the additional new requirements that needs to be included in the annual report for disclosure. At Caseware, we focus only on presentation and disclosure. You need to also still go and go through the recognition and measurement requirements about this compliance disclosure. but we have looked at this compliance disclosure and made necessary amendments, which I will show you now. But I just wanted to, as a departure point, give you that a common theme for our PFMA clients, and which is either on IFRS or on GRAP. Interesting enough, our the disclosure for irregular food observational expenditure for our MFA market, it is still in accordance with Circular 68, which has not yet been impacted by this new requirement in our view. So currently, disclosure, if you're a municipality regarding food observational expenditure, will still remain the same as the previous financial year. Okay. Another common theme, which really cuts across different frameworks, is, and this is now talking again to our IFRS clients and in our GRAP clients, and if you're in our PFMA or MFMA client, is the focus of only including significant accounting policies in the financial statements. You would also see now a change that we've implemented in the GRAP update this year to really highlight that and to guide you through that process of only including the significant accounting policy. We've updated the accounting policy that actually deals with materiality as well. I will show you that now. And then lastly, a very common theme, and that is now for our clients using our IFRS product as well as our GRAP product, is that we improve our lead sheets and to make it easier for you to maybe to produce a lead sheet and to give that to your auditors as supporting evidence. The last common theme, which cuts across again all our templates, is the XBRL 2022 taxonomy that has been included. So our GRAP template, if you are a company, you are required by legislation to submit the XBRL format of your financial statements to this company registrar. And the Companies Act allows entities or companies to follow either the GRAP or IFRS as an accounting framework, and due to that, both our products do cater for this compliance requirement as well. And every year there's like a new version of this update that we added, and that taxonomy has also been updated in this GRAP release that we have given to you. So if you want to, and we will share these links, but if you want to delve a bit deeper into that compliance disclosure, if you're a public entity, what to do in your annual report, what to do in the financial statements, then we will share these links, these documents with you, which I'll quickly just give you a highlight to, and you can just go and you're familiar, go through it yourself and make sure that you're doing the right things for this financial year. What I will be taking you through, I've already sort of covered GRAP 1, is the changes on significant accounting policies. GRAP 2 is the cash flow statement. Overall, there has not been a lot of changes in the GRAP standards from 2022 to 2023. However, in this time, the Accounting Standards Board that really drives the GRAP requirements did issue research papers of the reviews of the implementation of users using the GRAP standards, and they've given highlighted some common errors users are making on the cash flow statement, which I assume that Auditor General will go and look at and go and also incorporate into their audit process. And therefore we have also looked at those recommendations from the ASB and also implemented that in our update. Secondly, we also they issued a research paper on GRAP 24, which is a comparison of budget and actual amounts standard. And subsequently, we looked at the comments from the ASB on those research papers. We looked at the way that we do our disclosure in Caseware in our presentation, and we've done some improvements relating to that as well, but I will show you now. And then lastly, we also updated some additional feature, which is really if you want to take your public entity set of financial statements to the next level, we have some codes in place which can automate that Excel financial statements you submit at the end of your process to the National Treasury for them to do the consolidation. We can automate that Excel document for you as well. So that's in short from a compliance point of view, which we wanted to take you through. But now let's just not just talk on a presentation, but let's show you in show you in the software what you need to do. Okay, we have released Caseware working papers of 2022 version. We have released the latest GRAP template. It is GRAP 2022-1002. The installation name is GRAP 2022_02. The reason why it's a 2 on GRAP, you have not missed something, is that we just released in November an update only for our Explorer L clients. So that version is the Explorer L version, like we name it in GRAP, is the 2022-1001. In November, we released our latest RFS template, which includes also the Explorer L for 2022. That's why that version is 2022-0201, and then our connector version is 2022-10. So these are the versions that you need to have. But let's this is now what I wanted to do in the presentation up till now, but let's just talk through the software. First of all, always, I see we only have 2 people responded, and it's really not conclusive. It's like 50% is 50 to 100 pages, and I think most of the clients are GRAP, and then clients are either doing not just the annual report or the AFS, but doing like a combination. Okay, so this wasn't really insightful, so I'm not going to dwell on this. I think that the purpose we wanted to show you is on the page numbers is really that is very not very basic, but it is indicative of including immaterial information in your financial statements will increase your page numbers, and I think that is one of the objectives that the ASB is doing to see, listen, let's make the financial statements as concise as possible with the detail, the required detail as possible, and not have over disclosure and in the financial statements. But okay, this wasn't really conclusive. That's fine. Let's continue. Okay, the update. How do you get the software? Is you would you go to our Caseware community webpage. You should have received an update notification via email where we told you, listen, the update is available. Where you would get the update, you as a licensed user would have access to our Caseware community. You will log into the website, and if you go to my software, and if you go to, I'm just going to my software, I just need to log in again. If I log into my community and then I go to my software, then I go to launch download, and I go to punch in my email address, then I would see the software which is now available for me to download. I'm a employee of Caseware, so I've got access to all the software, but you would not see all of the software that is available. You will only see what's relevant to you. But I think what is important for you is to download working papers. It's the 2022 version, and to download your connector, which is the 2022 10 version, and then to download your GRAP release. I just want to go down. There's the GRAP, the 2022_2 IPL version. Select it, and you go to next, and you generate and you download the software. The software will automatically go and lie on your downloads folder. So you just go to downloads, and you'll see there's installation file. Double click and install the latest template and the latest Caseware working papers. For the installation to work, you are required to have local administrative rights. If you don't have local administrative rights on your PC, then just log a call to IT just to help you to install the software, and then you have installed the software. After you've installed the software, you should only have, you should only have one icon for Caseware working papers on your desktop. Click on that icon, or if you go to your start and you type in here Caseware working papers 2022, you can launch the application, and you know that the latest software has been installed on your PC. If you go to help, you just want to check that you have the latest software. You must have version 2022.179 release 2. That is the latest version. And if you go to if you go to templates, you would also see that there's the GRAP 2022_2 that has been installed. I just want to see here. You can also check your templates here. I've just got 2 instances of Caseware open, but if you go here to Caseware, again, this is the landing page. You go to templates, you would see that that is the latest version of the template installed, similarly on the iFresh side. Okay. After you have now installed the software, you can go to your file that you now want to update, and then you can just browse to that file. I've got here a file here. I'm just gonna open up this file, and you will see what will happen is after you've now typed in your login details is let's see here. It's expanding the file, and you will get a notification. I've not received it now that the file is it's still on the previous version of Caseware working papers, and you will be requested, do you want to convert the file to the 2022 version? That's not an update. I always want to tell our clients that's just converting the file from 2022 application to 2021 application to the 2022 application. It's similar to your Office updates. You know, your Office 2013 to the Office 2015 or whatever Office version you are upgrading to. And you would remember, if you do your Office version update, nothing of your content in your Excel document or nothing in the content of your Word document will change. So that's what the conversion does. However, after the conversion from Caseware 2021 to 2022, you will see on the file you want to update, you will get this update screen. This is now the process where we will add the latest content to your Caseware file. And this is now the content update portion. In the content update portion, you have 2 options. You can either do a full replace, which will actually let you go back to the default version of the financial statements as issued by us, but previous customizations would be lost. or you can go to the update financial statements, which is will only add the latest content, but will not affect areas which is not touched by the latest compliance changes. It will just those customizations be retained. So therefore, most of the time we would recommend clients to use this option. For you to do the update, you must always do a backup, make a backup of your financial statements, and then you can see if you've confirmed that make a backup, the update button appears. If you want to have a bit more detail of what the compliance changes entail, I just gave you a very high-level overview in the presentation. You can click on the release notes. It will take you to our community webpage, and it's actually then will take you through in detail the compliance changes on what we've changed. You can see there we talk about GRAP 1, GRAP 2, GRAP 3, the new transmissions that we always update, GRAP 4, the unauthorized regular fruits and waste expenditure update. If you're a municipality and you use the item function import, we have also updated to MSCA version 6.7, our auto-assign function, and I spoke to you about the entity console codes, the lead sheets, and then some technical improvements we've made. And there's the previous release of GRAP, the 2022-1001. You can see this is also a bit more detailed document than what I mentioned to you, the XBRL changes, and here is also the latest changes regarding Caseware working papers from an application point of view, and you can go and peruse that in detail. Okay, so at this point you have now, you can update your financial statements, and the update will take about 20 minutes to complete. I've now decided not to do the update. I have an updated file, and I just want to go to that updated file, and this is the file that I've already updated. Okay, so after the update, you would see that the version has changed here on your layout. It says 2022-1002, and you are now on the new version of Caseware working papers and on the latest version of the GRAP release. If I go to my financial statements, it's really, let's just quickly go through the compliance changes. You would see we've changed a bit of the UI here at the top, the look and feel, just to make it a bit, easier to use. But I think the biggest change I want to take you through is at the accounting policies. We add a bit of guidance text, which really just emphasizes the need. And again, it's about just aligning to the Accounting Standards Board their criticism of including accounting policies that is not including accounting policies in your financial statements, which is not even covering items in your financial statements, which just is unnecessary presentation and disclosure. The guidance there we added. One thing that you see, we always started with the basis of preparation, but now the intro paragraph says it's the significant accounting policies that is included, and then the basis of preparation is the second paragraph. You would see that we also updated our materiality working paper to be a materiality accounting policies to be aligned with the requirements of GRAP 1. But you would also see that we have included here a link to a materiality working paper, and the purpose of this working paper, again, we are very sensitive, sensitive for of the criticism from the ASB, and where we've now added you, and if we've added it actually in the previous year, just a working paper that you can complete just to help you to document your rationale of what accounting policies you're going to be including in your financial statements. So we listed all the accounting policies that's available in the GRAP template. We also included all the relevant standards that is applicable, and I think a lot of preparers does this on them, just outside the system, and maybe doesn't document it that well. And I think with the idea of this working paper, you just document what you actually have already made decisions upon, and that will really help you. We hope when you have a discussion with your Auditor General saying, listen, why are you not putting this accounting policy in, which was there last year? Then you say, listen, we've done an assessment and these accounting policies doesn't cover, it's not significant in the context of this financial statement, so we're not going to include it in the financial statements. It doesn't say the accounting policy is not relevant. The accounting policies maybe is then part of our policy document that is included in the financial statements, or not included in the financial statement. My accounting policies, that is part of my policies and procedures, as part of my stack of my entities policy procedures, and I'm just doing in any case in accordance with what the standard says I should do and recognize items in. But if it's not relevant, I'm not going to include it in the financial statements, so that the user can focus on only what is the material items in my financial statements. We had, when we presented this to other clients, they were asking, but if I now say something, accounting policy is here immaterial, does it go automatically switch off the accounting policy in the financial statements? Not yet, but if that is the way our users want our financial statements to work, we can definitely look at expanding this working paper to directly impact also what to include and exclude in the financial statements. But I think that's not the purpose. The purpose was really here to give you space to document. So I think that's just on the material, on the significant and accounting policies point of view. If I go now to our BC statement, if you go under to the settings and format, you would see that we always actually had this feature that you can drive your financial statements by either the layout as per the MTech, which is the budget in the budget format for public entities, or in a layout of the MBRR, which is the budget format for the municipalities. Remember, I think that was one of the biggest items that the accounting standard board mentioned, is that when you do your comparison of budget and actual amounts, your departure point is the format of your budget, and not the format of your budget. If your format of your budget is different to the format of your financial statements, then your separate statement, the statement of comparison, budget and actual information, needs to follow the format of your budget, and then you reconcile the actuals back to a comparative basis, and if there is still differences, then you need to reconcile your actuals back to the statement of financial performance, and the same applies to the statement of financial position. This layouts, the layouts that we have updated, if you go to your account assigned groupings and you go there to your PFMA budget codes or your MFMA budget codes, this PFMA budget codes is the layout as per the MTech. So we updated this layout to be more aligned with how the MTech looks like. And what it means is that you can have your trial balance that you have imported, you can map it in two different ways. You map it normally for your financial statements, but you in mapping it here in groupings, you can now remap it in the format of your budget. And if you map it like this, and I go back to my Caseware file here, you can see now, if I go here at the top, I have this report in the layout, not of the financial statements, but in the layout of the MTech is now automated. You would also have seen, I don't know if you saw that, I have imported in my trial balance, I've imported the budget as well as the adjustments budget. And if I do it like that, then we will automatically calculate for you the adjustment and present for you the final adjusted budget, automatically do a comparison against the actual and calculate for you the difference in the format of the MTech. So the same applies maybe for municipalities. If you switch over to our PFMA budget codes, the layout of your we call it the BC statement, the budget comparisons statement, is then in the layout of the latest MBRR schedule, the Schedule A. What we've noticed, and this is a change that we've made, and this is now again just on a terminology for our municipalities. We align it to the A1, the A1 sum, and there you would see the A1 sum really only have a very high level of information presented for the statement of financial position. However, if you want to go a bit more detail, you can just go back to the full, which will then just show you the statement of financial position in a more detail level on your BC statement. The same applies then for automation. If you go to your MFMA budget codes, the same TB that can just be represented in a different format. So I just want to get that here. Just going to get some account numbers there. Let's scroll here. And you can represent your financial statements in a different format. And the same applies. So in case it's actually powerful, we can show financial statements in different, the same TB in different formats, as long as it just keeps to accounting rules of there needs to be, and there's a balance sheet and an income statement side. So if you now just map it here, and I go okay, and I go back to my financial statements here, you would see now the accounts of my TB are now linked. Again, I imported budget and regional budget amounts, and now it's in the format of the BC statement. Okay. Existing feature, however, we just made some improvements to the existing feature based on the Treasury feedback. I just want to check on my notes. GRAP 2, GRAP 1, GRAP 2, and then entity console codes, and then I just want to show you GRAP 3 as well. Okay, maybe let's do some now GRAP 3, new interpretations. As standards has changed over the and got approved, and we just updated the most recent effective dates, which we know about. If these effective dates change, you can manually change them, but I think all the effective dates are now implemented. So those are the effective dates. So we updated the new interpretations to the latest approved standards. If you go to the cash flow statement, so on the cash flow statement, the biggest feedback that we had, 2 comments on a cash flow statement, just very fascinating, something new that I've learned as well. In a cash flow statement, an inflow of cash is always positive, and an outflow of cash is always negative. However, you always need to show for an item the inflow separately from the outflow. That's why you have the purchases separate from the proceeds. The same applies. So it's the inflow and the outflow of the cash item. What we've updated is that, and we just updated the logic for when we have maybe another item. We look at the items and see where the inflow and the outflow are split adequately. We added the split adequately. That is the biggest change that we've made. We also other things of performance, you have the capability to move around some of the items to present either the different activities, the financing, operating, or investing activities. However, for our municipalities, I think you guys will be glad to see that we have added an option of consumer deposits also to be moved around either between the operating activity, the financing activity, or investing activity based on your assessment on where the consumer data should go. So I think that was the improvement we've made here. Another improvement that we've made on the cash flow was we've added for you, I don't know if you last year already, we added the Excel document, which is like a working paper again. It's a working paper. It doesn't have any impact on the financial statements. We will just unpack for you how we calculate the cash flow statement. It uses the connector. If you're a public sector entity, you should have access to the connector. The connector is, that's why we mentioned it here. Connector links up, if the Excel document is in the Caseware document manager, it links up the Excel document to the Caseware database, and if you do a recalculate, it will pull through the manuals, the value to Excel. However, this is Excel now. It's open. It's a working paper. It's really there just to give you maybe a place to start off calculating or seeing how Caseware has calculated the cash flow statement. Okay, and here in the user guide also some common troubleshooting items which we commonly see users have a problem with, and just help you to troubleshoot or to consider maybe items like you just go through the process. For example, if clients calls us and say, listen, my cash flow statement doesn't balance, but if we go to the working trial balance and we see that the trial balance doesn't balance, then it's very difficult for Caseware to guarantee that we will balance your cash flow. If your TV is not balancing, there's no way that we're going to be able to balance your cash flow. To balance the cash flows, in any case, very difficult, as non-cash items, which is included in the TB amount, included in the balance, are not shown separately. So therefore, we could always have this calculation you do outside. But I think as a departure point, we have some good troubleshooting questions that we've listed there. Lastly, but not the least, and we will definitely be two things still, not lastly, there's maybe two things. The lead sheets, you would see now after the update, we have now new lead sheet numbers here. This is our new lead sheet numbers, and if you go to our document manager, you should see now that the lead sheets is now the document manager structured differently. The 300 range is the non-current, 400 is the current, 500 non-current, 600 current, and then within this lead sheet, we try to align each folder to the line on the face of the balance sheet. But if you now go, for example, to the property, plant, and equipment, you can see now we've changed the lead sheet in such a way that it now groups per class the lead sheet, so that you can see the net balance that is presented in your financial statement for the different classes of assets that is applicable in the financial statements. So that is the lead sheets. We've also updated the lead sheet for, I think, and this is a very nice development. We updated the lead sheet for the revenue, so that you can also see for revenue a total that aligns perfectly to your face of your income statement on the revenue side, a different lead sheet for the expenditure that also aligns to the expenditure on the in the subclasses on the face of your state on the expenditure side and state of financial performance. And if you then if you want to maybe create a lead sheet only for one of the items, you can do that. Let's say I only want the lead sheet for what's shown under. Let's do another one. I want to see a lead sheet that is shown other not depreciation, maybe bulk services. You can just create for yourself a lead sheet, new automatic document, bulk purchases, and I can go here to lead sheets. And I can say, listen, I only want to have lead sheet number 750 750 011, and if I click OK there, and I go now to bulk purchases, it's then only the lead sheet for bulk purchases. Okay, so that's the lead sheets, and then in 3 minutes time, the last thing is for our public entities, our entity console codes. This is really just the coding structure that we've updated in the GRAP template. If you want to automate your that empty Excel document that Treasury issues to you for your consolidation, unfortunately, those Excel documents are issued directly to entities, and we can't automate it up front. But we've updated the coding structure to align to the latest version. So if you want us to automate it for you, contact our team at Caseware, and they would gladly help you to automate it at a small fee. Okay. So those are the specific things. How can we help? Then you would see, I know sometimes the phone our support desk takes a long time, and we have now implemented the callback option. So if you phone after a few minutes, you will be requested, do you want us to give you a call back? And if you say yes, you will keep your queue number and we will just call you back. Another way of communicating with us is via the live chat on our Caseware Africa community, which is much more efficient. And then last, you can send the email, but we would rather you, our SLA, our email is a 24-hour turnaround, whereas we've got much higher turnaround to you on our telephone or on our live chat. We would recommend you using that. And if you want to have dedicated assistance of consulting team to assist you, please contact your account executive and they will gladly help you. And it is now exactly just before 12 o'clock. I want to check out if there is any questions. I just see, I don't see any questions posted. I want to see if there is any comments made. There isn't any comments made. Then at this point, I will thank you and we will make the recording available after, we make the recording available on our YouTube channel, and if you, and we will also send you afterwards just those links that I've referred to regarding the compliance framework that is now applicable for the public entities. Thank you, and goodbye. If you've got any questions, please reach out and we will definitely help you. Thank you and goodbye.